A very good morning to all the employees of ABC Medical Group. My name is Darshini Ganesh. I am the Systems Manager at Cybersecurity Division here at ABC Medical Group. Today we are going to see cyber threats and attack vector, which is what is the scene behind all the web applications that we are accessing and operating with on a day-to-day basis. We'll look at it in detail and also look at what are the different types of threat actors in the digital world. What are their abilities, their goals, what are the consequences as healthcare professionals here, and some of the interesting facts as well. So, without wasting further much time, let's get into the content. Just a moment. Okay. So, we will let there might be some questions in our mind. What is technological vulnerabilities? Who are these threat actors? What are their goals? Their vision? Let's look at all of these information. Technological vulnerability is a probability that the system security might fail due to external forces. In simple terms, it can be referred to as resulting data breach, data leakage, or giving access to or having access to one of the unauthorized person into the system. Let's look at some more details into this and then we'll better understand what is a threat and a vulnerability. So let's differentiate these two and then compare and contrast them. As you see, threat is a probability that a specific type of system attack may occur. Vulnerability is a weakness that exposes you to these threats, which in turn can increase the probability of the threat. Threats may result in damage or destroy of an asset, whereas vulnerabilities refer to weaknesses in the hardware, software, or script procedures. A good example of a threat is a flaw in the network firewall that will let the attackers enter into the network. And our network is a secure system, secure network. It is not a public network. A good example of a vulnerability is DOS attack, denial of service. For all of us to understand, when we are trying to shop online during Black Friday, we might have experienced website is down or loading slow. This may be because of these kind attackers. Let's also look at some of the types of threat and types of vulnerabilities. System misconfiguration is a type of vulnerability. That means, because of the misconfiguration, there are gaps in the system. Out of date or unpatched software. Software should be always up to date. Missing or weak authorization credentials. We all keep hearing this that our passwords must be strong. Malicious insider threat. This is an interesting one. One among us who is inside the organization is the threat actor here. A poor data encryption. Passwords are encrypted. If it is not encrypted using security standards, then there is a loophole. Zero-day vulnerability. An attacker is aware of what is the vulnerability in our system, but we are not aware, and that's called as zero-day vulnerability. Now, moving on to the types of threat. Malware. Malware is a harmful software or a virus. We all might have heard about Trojan. That's an example of a malware. Emotet is one of the most expensive and destructive malware. We looked at DOS just in the above example. Men in the middle. An attacker who manages to fit himself between when two parties are communicating with each other in the network. Phishing, this is a common word. A suspicious email or a fake email is phishing. Example of phishing. SQL injection, inserting a false code or a harmful code into the SQL server. Password attacks, guessing a password or accessing the password. Moving on, let's look at some of the type of threat attacks. I'll go in detail with each of these in this table. We look at what are their goals, what are their available resources, what are their capabilities, why are they doing this, and what is the risk. what level of risk each of these actors expose us into. APTs. So if you see, or by and large, three actors out of six have political goals. Some of them have financial goals and some of them have non-financial goals. Looking at the resources, more or less they have enough resources or sometimes unlimited resources. Only the individual actors or individual players will have limited resources, like script kiddies or inside strengths. Capabilities. Some of these actors are really very high skilled. Some of them are beginners or learners. Some of them just do it for hobby, so they may not be highly skilled. Their motivation is making money or expected outcome, or it can be just mere hobby. All these actors are ranging from medium to high to very high risk. Moving on to better understand these threat actors and their abilities. Now we have APTs. These are criminals, actors who are criminals who work together to steal data and infiltrate system over a long period of time. These are group of attackers. And what is the impact on our medical group? These attackers can completely steal our intellectual property or our healthcare goals from the system. Cyber terrorism. These actors are usually focused on disrupting or destructing critical services and causing harm. They are pretty much capable of bringing down the hospital computer system or publicly revealing all the PII data. Script kiddies. They are more a hobby. They do it more for hobby, these actors, and they also develop tools, do trial and error, and they're very high skilled and capable of breaking our network system. Breaking and entering through our network, or sometimes we have systems which are integrated with some of the other outside payment system, and they're very much capable of getting into the payment system through us. Cyber criminals. These are actors usually steal sensitive data in an idea to make money. Their goal is financial goal. And impact to our medical group is they can just pull all the PII data of our clients and sell them outside for making money in the market. Activists. Again, these kind of actors, they like to create awareness about our system outside, expose our information into other illegally. Insider threats. This is an interesting one, like we already saw. One among us who is accidentally or intentionally doing this act, and it's a very high risk threat actor. Moving on, let's also see what is most serious and least serious attacks performed by each of these actors. Taking an example of APTs, most serious is stealing intellectual property, which is strategy of our companies example. More least serious is as they might have all when they identify the loophole in our system or into connecting into our network. Cyber terrorism, when they steal PII data and let it for public access. That violates HIPAA. Identify existing vulnerability is one of the least serious. Script kiddies, they can reroute our application link into a suspicious or a false link. That is definitely more serious. They knowing our existing system integration is information gathering, which is least serious. Cyber criminals, they sell PII data and make money, which is more serious, again violates HIPAA. Entering into the network, figuring out how to enter are the least serious. Activist, distributed denial of services. We already saw this with Black Friday deals. Least serious is they merely create traffic into one website. Insider threats. This actor being one among us having access to the system is most serious. His negligence and if he's trying to create an attack through an accident is least serious. I hope you enjoyed all this training today. I'm sure you must have learned something new today about different types of actors, their abilities, their goals. Now, if you are willing to learn little more about each of these topics, please feel free to reach out to me to the email that you are seeing in the screen. I'm more than happy to give you more information or more training about this. Thank you all for being part of this training today.